Let's dive right into this explainer and tackle what is honestly the ultimate frustration for IELTS test takers. I'm talking about being totally stuck at a band 6 or 6.5 in listening, even when you feel like you understand almost everything you hear. If you've been grinding away, taking practice test after practice test, and your score just refuses to budge, well, you are in the exact right place.
So why does this happen? You might be thinking, oh, I just need a bigger vocabulary, or maybe I need to listen to way more English audio. But actually, the reality is that the IELTS listening exam isn't just testing your overall comprehension. It's a test of highly controlled detail management under extreme time pressure. You see, comprehension is rarely the real issue when you're stuck at a 6.5. The real issue? It's consistency and control.
And the margin for error here is razor thin. If you look at how the raw scores convert, the grading is completely binary. An answer is either 100% correct or it's wrong. There is zero partial credit. Literally just 4 or 5 tiny mistakes, we're talking missing a plural S, a minor spelling error, or writing 2 words when the instructions strictly said 1, can instantly lock you out of that band 7.
What this all means is that your ultimate goal has to be a behavioral shift. You need to transition from a panicked, kind of passive band 6 listener into a strategic, totally in control band 7 candidate. Think about it. A band 6 candidate often actually hears the right answer, but they write it down wrong, or they commit way too early and panic if they miss something. On the flip side, a band 7 candidate, they wait for confirmation, they track distractors like a hawk, they double-check their grammar during transfer time, and they recover fast.
Let's break this down chronologically, starting with what you need to do before listening, predicting and anticipating synonyms.
Before that audio even begins to play, your preview time is absolute gold. To reduce cognitive overload, especially in those super heavy multiple choice sections, you have to actively scan the questions and predict key elements. Ask yourself, what word type fits this gap? A noun? A number? But most importantly, you need to anticipate synonyms. The audio is almost never going to use the exact words written on your page. By predicting, you're basically programming your brain to catch the right details through all the noise.
Moving on to the actual test, here's what you do during listening to traps in sections 2 and 3. While the audio is playing, those multiple choice sections turn into an absolute minefield. You'll hear multiple speakers talking over each other, changing their minds. It's chaotic. And the most dangerous hazard here is the word matching trap. Listen, if you hear the exact words from the question or the options spoken clearly in the audio, do not select that answer immediately. It's bait. Passive listeners hear matching words and fall right into the trap. But the real answer is almost always hiding behind a clever paraphrase.
So how do we handle this? We track the distractors and identify the villains of the audio.
To survive these traps, you have to actively expect the answers to change. You're listening for specific audio cues. These are the villains of our story. For example, when you hear the word actually, massive red flags should go up in your head. The speaker is about to correct themselves. That signals that a distractor just played and the real final answer is coming up right that second.
Here's another classic villain where the speaker totally pivots. They might sound super confident giving a time or a date, and then literally a second later go, sorry, that's incorrect, it should be. This right here is exactly why a band 7 candidate waits for confirmation before putting pen to paper. Whatever you do, do not just write down the very first thing you hear.
Oh, and watch out for this one. The time-based distractor. The prompt might be asking for a current policy, right? But the speaker will start by describing what they used to do. They do this on purpose. It forces you to track the shift in the timeline just to figure out what the actual current truth is. Just a really quick warning on the test format before we keep going. Tracking these distractors in real time is even more crucial if you're taking the computer-based test. Why? Well, in the paper-based test, you get a really generous 10 minutes at the very end to transfer your answers and check your spelling. But for the computer-based test, that transfer time drops to a frankly terrifying 2 minutes just to review answers on your screen. You have got to type accurately while you're listening.
Finally, let's talk about what happens after listening with strategic error analysis. What you do after the practice test is over is honestly where the real magic happens. Because if you just take a test, check your score, and move on, you are only measuring your ability. You aren't actually improving it. Instead, you need to categorize every single wrong answer. Build yourself a personal mistake log. Was it a spelling error? Did you fall for a word matching trap? Did you miss a tricky plural? Identifying your own specific pattern of failure is the absolute only way you can actively fix it.
To build that rock-solid consistency and wipe out those errors, you should adopt this rigorous study loop. Step 1.
Learn a specific method for a question type. Step 2. Attempt 10 to 15 questions of exactly that type under strict time pressure. And Step 3. Measure your accuracy and log your mistakes. Doing this ensures you're not just passively sitting back and watching strategy videos, but actually moving a technique from basic recognition to flawless execution.
Moving forward, this ratio is your golden rule. Watching explainer content for IELTS prep is great, but please beware of the research trap, where watching just feels like studying. Here's the deal. For every 10 minutes you spend consuming strategy, you must spend at least 20 minutes doing scored practice on that exact same skill. Application is quite literally everything.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take a hard look at your own study habits and ask yourself this one final question. Are you analyzing your errors, or are you just repeating them over and over? Because controlling your mistakes, mastering those distractors, and practicing with hyper-focused purpose, that is the real secret to finally breaking through that plateau and securing your Band 7.